Welcome back, everyone, with Greg Roth. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer, and this is your Sharp Squares podcast for week one of the NFL season 2025-26. We've got a number of new Sharps. We've got one new show we're going to track and a whole new attitude from Greg Roth, who just looks great.
Was my attitude bad before?
It was,
At times, I can get cranky.
Speaking of bad attitudes, everyone knows our Sharps, and as such, us had a less than stellar season last year. So we had to do something. We had to make someone the scapegoat. So we've suspended the ambassador for week one.
It seems like a light punishment under the circumstances, but I can accept it.
Well, you think it's light, but if I told you right now, as we're recording, he's probably in a long line at Disney World right now. So it's a pretty nasty.
Now it's punitive.
Yeah. So we hope to have the ambassador back, coming out.
He's not. He's in the bar at the Magic Kingdom going to watch this Chiefs-Chargers game. I think the ambassador will find a way. Epcot Center, he'll get into another country. He has diplomatic privileges. He's going to be watching that Chiefs-Chargers game tonight.
Hope for his sake, because the situation that he informed me about seems like he's going to be in Disney World hell. But at any rate, we've got a lot to cover. We have tried to do even a better job, if that's possible, organizing our notes. I got to give, I know all the producers were great this week. First week back, everyone's, pulling hammies and stuff right out of the gate. But, obviously, Patrick McQuillan, P-Mac, P-Money was unbelievable. Eric Schultz came out of he was just unbelievable. Scott and I actually talked for the banker. We talked for about 45 minutes, and we knew this was a big week where we're getting on the phone with each other. So a lot of work getting done this week. So hats off to the entire team for stepping up. All right. You ready to go? You ready for your real formal introduction?
I am. I've been waiting months for it.
All right. Here we go. We've got some strong picks. Probably not good that I feel good about it. Strap on the seatbelt, and here we go. The segment you love and maybe are fearful of the most: gold, silver, bronze. And to provide you with the Sharps' top picks, as he does each and every episode, everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to be back with you. What a pleasure it is to be back for another NFL season, a football season, college football too. Honorable mention, of course, not on this show, but we love college football as well.
Big win for your Canes.
Go Canes. And what a pleasure it is to be back with our listening audience, a very savvy and patient listening audience, at least they were last year. And of course, our amazing production team, our Discord community. Welcome back to everybody. And we're starting off with a very nice slate. 5 medal games. There's 5 medal games. One of them's gold. I can't wait to find out who's going to be the team that starts us out as the number 1 rated game for the season. There's 2 silver games and there's 2 bronze games. Eric, there is one change this season. Last year, the lines that we used for Pick 5 were from the DraftKings Pick 5 pool. This year, we made a change.
We did. We are partnering with Splash Sports. Many of you probably know them as sort of the football and sports pool kind of hub for many of your pools: golf, baseball, basketball, football, that. We've partnered with them. We have, in conjunction with Steve Fezzik, Fez, and Jared Smith. Some of you may follow him as well. We're doing a $250,000 pick 5 contest, and we're going to join that. We have joined that, Greg. Congratulations.
Do I get, how much of the 250 do I get if we win?
Once you pay me for half the entry fee, you'll be in for half of what we win. So it's so we're going to use the lines from them, and they get their lines from where most of the books and a lot of the places that and trust get the lines. So the lines will be pretty standard from anything that gets sort of similar to Circa and similar to the Super Contest, but we'll use those lines for our pick 5. And then, of course, we're still doing our 3-2-1 contest, which will have slightly different lines that we get from that pool manager that I think draws those from what gets published in the New York Post, I think, on Wednesday. So that's where our 2 line sources will be.
We are looking forward to working with Splash Sports this season. 5 medal games.
Oh, yeah. By the way, let me say this, too. Not only have all the Sharp Squares members and newsletter subscribers been able to join this pool and get credit for doing it, we're going to probably do a few other pools and contests with these guys throughout the season. Probably after right around the halfway mark, we're going to do a couple of other pools. We may even do a playoff pool with these guys. So for one, subscribe to the newsletter. You could go to sharpsquarespodcast.com and for free subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll get promos about those. And if you want to get extra access and more credit for joining these contests, then join our Discord community, right? Sharpsquarespodcast.com. We've got over 200 members sharing information beyond what we do on the show. Plus, you get the crib notes to every show we cover and access to everything that we do. So it's a really easy way. It's like $49.99 for the season, for the year. So it's a really easy way to get a lot of information and make your lives better as you conduct your pools or your daily gambling.
This Splash Sports news has really built a suspense as far as what these 5 games are going to be to open up the 2025 season. There's one gold game. It's the top rated game on the board, and I would say by a fairly substantial margin relative to this week. Shockingly so. The pick is the Cleveland Browns. I know you're excited. Cleveland's a home dog. They're plus 5.5, welcoming the Cincinnati Bengals. Steve Fezzik, RJ Bell, Mackenzie Rivers, Stuckey, the Favorites Podcast, and Cleve TA. All pick.
Wait a minute. The Favorites Podcast is no longer the Favorites Podcast.
What is it?
You ready for this? It's called Sharp or Square.
They'll be hearing from our intellectual property lawyer. There are 2 silver games. The first silver game, the top-rated silver game, another home dog. The pick, it's the Seattle Seahawks. They're plus 2.5, welcoming the San Francisco 49ers, a divisional matchup. RJ Bell, Mackenzie Rivers, and the Whale Capper all pick Seattle. Ross Tucker, the lone dissenter on the medal games across the board, did pick the 49ers. The second silver game, the pick is the Baltimore Ravens. Sunday night game, I believe, plus 1.5 in Buffalo to take on the Bills. Ross Tucker, the Whale Capper, Cleve TA, and Mike Renner all picked Baltimore. Nobody picked Buffalo. 2 bronze games. The first bronze game, the top-rated bronze game, the pick, another underdog for us. There's going to be more of that, 5 underdogs total. The pick, the New York Giants. They're plus 5.5. They're in Washington to take on the Commanders. Gianni the Greek. Welcome back, Gianni. He debuted last year. Ross Tucker, Chris Raybon, and Cleve TA all picked New York. Cleve TA is making this show a lot on week 1. Atlanta Falcons. They are the last pick. They are bronze. They are another home dog, plus 1.5, hosting Tampa Bay. Chris Raybon, Gil Alexander, and Cleve TA all picked Atlanta. Nobody picked Tampa Bay. Let me summarize that for you. The pick 5 is very simple. We had 5 medal games. Again, these are the Splash Sports lines. The Browns plus 5.5, the Seahawks plus 2.5, the Ravens plus 1.5, the Giants plus 5.5, the Falcons plus 1.5. It's a lot of points plus. We like the plus money at Sharp Squares, at least in week 1. 3-2-1, a little wrinkle. The Giants in that pool were getting 6.5. The line in the initial pool is 5.5. That leapfrogs them from a bronze game into a gold game in 3-2-1. The Ravens drop out, but that's the only move. 3-point game, the Browns plus 5.5. 2-point game, the Giants plus 6.5. 1-point game, the Seahawks plus 2.5. And that's it.
Well done. I got nothing to add. So, if that's all you're looking for, and you don't want any of the wonderfully organized handicapping highlights we have, you are now all dismissed. But for those of you who are sticking around, we've got 3 games we've summarized for you, as well as some trends that we've aggregated. Really compliments of executive producer Greg Roth. So let's get started. We've organized the trends in a little bit different way. Let's see if it works for you guys. First, we're going to talk about high impact week 1 angles, divisional home dogs, which we have 3 in our top 5 picks. They are 23-7 since 2010. They are 10-2 since 2018. They're 18-4 since 2012. All these trends, by the way, come from either Evan Abrams at the Action Network or Bet Labs. We also have, same theme, underdogs of 1 to 6.5 points, Greg, are 60% since 2016. Each of the last 9 seasons, they are well over 500 ATS. And finally, big dogs. And you're a big dog. 6.5 or more points are 49-27 ATS since 2006.
Yeah, we have 3 of the 5 medal games are divisional home dogs. And the 4th, which is the Browns, the Falcons, and the Seahawks, all home dogs. And then we have the Giants against Washington. They're on the road, another divisional dog, but on the road. So 4 of our 5 games should match. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Nothing.
Nothing could go wrong. Market bet splits edge. There's only solutions, never problems. Market bet splits edge is the theme on this trend since 2010. Favorites getting more than 50% of the bets in week 1 are 79, 102 against the spread. That's 44%. That's from Bet Labs. This week, Eric, check this out. 14 of the 16 favorites reportedly, at least at the time of this broadcast, have more than 50% of the bets to cover. So that's a potential contrarian opportunity.
Some QB team-specific angles here. You're going to guess these. I'm getting sick of this one, but we have to do it. Joe Burrow, early season, 1-9 straight up, 3-7 ATS in the first 2 games of the season. And then he goes 43-22-1 ATS game 3 onward. Jared Goff. Oh, you're going to say something, Greg? You were coming towards the mic.
I was just saying that's crazy. I mean, what Burrow in the first 3, that's crazy.
The whole Bengal thing is just
slow start.
And we're fading them, and they're going to play great. Jared Goff is 8-0 ATS in season openers, so you should pound the Lions plus 2.5. And number 1 overall pick QBs making their first start are 5-22-1 straight up and 8-20 since ATS, since the merger in 1970.
Of course, that applies to Cam Ward, and we're rooting for him. I would not fade Cam Ward.
Here we go, Ken.
Next trend, coaching tendencies in week 1. Best ATS coaches week 1. John Harbaugh, 12-5 against the spread. Sean McVay, 6-2 against the spread. Dan Campbell, 4-0 against the spread. All of that is from Bet Labs. How about the worst coaches in week 1? Dan Quinn, 1-6. Kyle Shanahan, 3-5. Zach Taylor, 2-4. All against the spread. All of that also from Bet Labs.
All right, we don't want to spend too much time thinking about last season because that was then and this is now. However, we all know, if you listen to this show, that the favorites, not the podcast, which has now changed their name, but the favorites posted one of their strongest seasons ever, going 71. Oh, this is so hard to read. 71.7% against the spread, with road favorites an exceptional 80-28 straight up. Wow, that's hard to read. Now, despite that, folks, as you're listening and getting ready to, do what you're going to do here when you're hearing this, historical week 1 trends still lean heavily towards underdogs. So use that as you wish. All right, let's get to the real fun stuff. Our gold game, where we're putting all the marbles. Browns +5. We already covered this, but there's going to be a couple. We're going to categorize things. First, handicaps around the divisional home dog trend. You're going to hear a lot about this. Stuckey, Simon Hunter, Chow Millman, RJ Bell all talked about this angle 23-7 ATS since 2010. Also, it was talked about how this trend is so strong, you could almost add a half point to a point, depending on who you are, to the line. Meaning, like, if you're really you should feel confident the Browns are getting like upwards to a touchdown based upon this trend as a divisional home dog, something that was discussed amongst a lot of the shows. The second big trend, of course, is the Burrow and the Bengals slow start. We covered those numbers. Bengals under Taylor are historically slow starters, and the extra preseason reps this season, a lot of folks think will not necessarily fix that. Habits are hard to break. We'll see. Third angle here, we're going to call matchup advantage. The Browns defense versus the Bengals offensive line. Roth, Pizzella, forward progress. Schwartz's defense historically disrupts Burrow. He is a career low ADOT average. Help me out there again. Average depth
of target.
That's right. Thanks, Greg. The career low ADOT versus Cleveland. The Browns pass rush with Garrett versus still suspect Bengals offensive line is going to be a big area that everyone who handicapped this game mentioned. CBS pushing the pile says that the Browns secondary, Ward and Newsom, match up really well against Jason Higgins. And fourth, and the final kind of angle here, and this gets away from our traditional side picks, Greg, totals. There's a strong case for the under here. They were talking 47.5. A bunch of folks all went in that direction. Expect a lower, grinded out divisional script with the Browns, limiting professions, and both the coaching and play style of Stefanski, and will shorten the game with run balance, and the Bengals offense struggles versus the Browns defensive schemes. Timestamps on this. CBS pushing the pile, 46 minutes, 7 seconds. The Action Network, check out their handicap at 16 minutes, 32 seconds. Forward Progress, 23 minutes, 22 seconds. And the Dream Preview, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 36 seconds. And a new show that we've been covering, the Sports Gambling Podcast, or SGP. You could check out their handicap at 59 minutes, 22 seconds.
Eric, I think that's the first ever use of average depth of target on the Sharp Squares podcast. I don't know that we've ever used that reference before.
Definitely. I struggled there.
Has a lot of meanings. Second medal game, silver, Seahawks +2.5 versus the 49ers. The number one theme here, divisional home dog angle, which we already covered in trends, multiple sharps, including Mackenzie Rivers, RJ Bell, and the whale capper. Emphasize the Seahawks at +2.5 on the money line, classic divisional home dog value. Also, the whale capper, he likes the Seahawks defensive upgrades. He projects the Seattle defense as the best unit on the field in this game, including coverage, run defense, and pass rush. Both the Dream Preview and the whale capper noted Seattle's upgraded corners and defensive line as a matchup edge versus the 49er ground game. One other theme, the 49ers, they have cluster injuries at wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk is questionable. Juwan Jennings is limited, sharp-sighted. Shanahan's scheme resilience, but warned about diminished explosiveness. Markets still price San Francisco as short road favorite despite these concerns. There was some talk about the total as well in this game. We got totals in the handicapping highlights this year. Austin Mock, is he new? Austin Mock? I don't remember.
Yeah. He's not in our algorithm, but he's on Forward Progress, and we like this.
He liked the over at 43.5, citing offensive efficiency and explosive weapons, although that contrasted with general expectations of a divisional slugfest. Timestamps, Dream Preview, 38 minutes, 39 seconds. The Deep Dive, 59 minutes, 34 seconds.
Ravens +1.5 at the Buffalo Bills, sort of my second home. Go Bills. First angle here, the Ravens get value as a short underdog or a pick 'em. The Deep Dive podcast mentioned that Baltimore is a meaningful favorite here, so take the Ravens money line as a best bet. Fezzik and Ross Tucker in the Even Money Show both called the Ravens plus 1.5 as their best bet, rating Baltimore as the NFL's best team. Mike Renner at CBS pushing the pile like the Ravens at 1.5, citing Buffalo's thin secondary. And Sharp or Square, no affiliation with Sharp Squares, formerly the favorites, like the Ravens, noting revenge after last year's playoff loss. Another angle here is Bill's secondary and defensive concerns. The Deep Dive podcast mentioned that the defense is still vulnerable in Buffalo in the middle of the field, and the Ravens' wide receiver depth, plus Andrews, could exploit that. Renner mentioned White is aging, Benefer is questionable, and he expects the Ravens offense to have success here. And Rob Pizzola leaned under 50.5, highlighting the Ravens wide receiver mismatches versus the aging Bills safeties. Boy, the Bills secondary just got hammered there. The other angle is leaning the under and the Ravens team total over. See, this is next level handicapping highlights. RJ Bell and Steve Fezzik of the Dream Preview. They played the Bills team total under 24.5 as their new dynamite bet. Those of you who have been listening to the Dream Preview, if they all agree on a play, they bet it right there live with a casino online, and they call it their dynamite bet. And so they made that bet while they were recording their show. Bills team total under 24.5. He used McDermott's poor week 1 scoring history as rationale. Rob Pizzola at Forward Progress, he thinks the under is 50.5, and he called this a 2-hammer play, projecting long drives and fewer short possessions. And the Whale Capper and Andy also considered the Ravens team total over 24.5, given the favorable matchups. Timestamps here. The Dream Preview, 1 hour, 16 minutes, 15 seconds. The Deep Dive podcast, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 31 seconds. Forward Progress, 1 hour, 49 minutes. God, thank Sharp Squares for all of this, folks. Those are long shows. And Even Money at 26 minutes. Oh, and finally, the Sports Gambling Podcast, 1 hour, 33 minutes, 40 seconds.
How long is that show? I mean, that timestamp's an hour and 33. They're talking about I guess they're talking about the Sunday night game at that point, but that's a long show.
Yeah. I'm going to have to double check that timestamp. That seems Dream Preview exclusive. So,
yeah. Well, anyway, either way, you're welcome.
That's right. Guys, sharpsquarespodcast.com, free newsletter there. Tell your friends and family about the show. Subscribe. Thanks to the incredible team that helped put this show together. Week 1. Always exciting, always a little rocky. We did a great job. Greg, great job to you as well. You came out just on fire.
Thank you. Very excited about Splash Sports and this new partnership. It should be a great season.
Exciting stuff. Ambassador, we missed you. To everyone, remember, we are certainly not sharp, but this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.